Good morning, everybody. Hope you are good. Simon Taylor here, doing a bit of an update, getting everything set up. Here we go. So, I thought I'd come on and share my thoughts on Bitcoin, on where I think price is going, where I think price could go, and thought I'd share some of my areas with you guys. So, here's some I prepared earlier. So, obviously, a couple of weeks ago, we had a bit of a devastating pullback for a lot of people on the crypto market. We were okay as a community, but there were some people around the world, if not a lot of them, that got absolutely wrecked from this. But when you look at it on a bit of a macro point of view like this, it doesn't seem that bad. So Bitcoin had a bit of a sell-off, brought the altcoins down with it. So these are some of my areas that I'm interested in if we come for the bottom of this wick. Now, as you can see, we've had a bit of a recovery, which doesn't always mean a lot. We can see here we've made a higher low, which is fine. Doesn't necessarily mean that the market is going to rise from here. What it means is it's a bit of a relief rally. We've come down to this point of basically liquidating everybody. We've been bought back up. We've come back down, found support. We actually took this trade last week. Simon's long. If you look here, I set out this trade. The only levels that we had really to work with were the Fibonacci's, because obviously everything's been taken. Liquidity, previous support and resistance, etc. It's all been taken. All the naked points of controls, everything, all the volume, all the liquidity has all been taken, swept with this liquidity whip. So really all we had to go by was the Fibonacci's from here, which were bottom of this wick to the top, best we could do. Came down to the 786, just below, closed above. And there's where we got our little relief bounce here. And what have we done so far since Friday? So from this bounce here, yeah, we've had an 8% move, which is, it's decent. It's decent. We've come down as far as 103.5, 103.500 more or less to 111. So a nice bounce of 8%. So yeah, us and the mentees, we took this on our portfolios and made a bit of money from this. So what's next? Well, if we come back down, back on the daily chart, the macro view of the chart, if we come back down, these are the support levels. These are the support zones that I'm interested in. Why? You may ask. Why? Let's get into this. Well, 100K is the psychological level. 100K is the psychological level to come down and retest. What else have we got? Well, we've got the bottom of this wick. Let me get my drawing tool out. We've got the bottom of this wick, which is obviously liquidity, where a lot of people bought. We've got the 100K psychological level, which is in and around this kind of area. And what we've also got is this liquidity area here. This liquidity area here. This significant low here. And that will cover 102 to 98K. Of course, none of this is financial advice. This is just me giving my opinion on where we stand with the market if we come down. I'll explain where, some particular resistance levels that we're maybe coming up against for potential shorts in a second. But this is longs. If we break down to the downside, we've got 100K here, 102 to 98K. The next level down is 94.5 to 91.5. Now, 95 to 92 if you want to be, general about it. We've had this on the cards for a while. Why? Well, one, we've got a significant liquidity area here. And also, we've got a CME gap from, when was it? May time, that never actually got filled. Never came down and got filled. Now, they don't always get filled. But when they do, it's like a bit of a magnet. Comes down to swoop this area here because the market does not like imbalance. Now, if we fall below here, we're starting to talk about bear market initiations. So, yeah, if we come down below the 94 to 91K, then of course we're coming down to the 84 to 82K. Why? Well, we've got significant support levels around here. Not only have we got this little bit of vector candle recovery in this liquidity here, but we've also got, let me get all my support levels up. So as you can see here, not only have we got the levels that I've talked about, we've also got some naked volume levels. So down here at the CME gap as well, we've also got a weekly and daily MPOT, which is naked volume, not been tapped yet. So it's always a magnet for price to come down. Down here at the 84, we have got a monthly naked point of control, which is a lot of volume at the bottom of this vector candle recovery, as long as this, as well as this liquidity here. And what we've also got is a monthly support level and naked point of control on the daily. So quite a bit of support down there. What I'm looking for around these kind of areas is I expect to bounce on all of them, to be honest. So if we come down to here, I will expect a bounce of some kind. Whether it comes up to here and creates a lower high and then continues for a lower low, that could be what happens. So I would say that all of these, not financial advice, but are tradable. So if you come down to here, you'll see you'll get a bounce here, maybe up to this level here, then down to here, and then up to here. Because remember that what was support, now resistance, you'll create lower lows. So they've all got potentials of giving us nice bounces. Next level down, of course, we've got is this 77 to 74. Why? Significant low. Significant low here on the charts of liquidity. Not to mention weekly MPOT, weekly support, and also a bunch of naked points of control. So yes, there's some of the levels that I've got marked out. But because a lot of people at the moment, they're kind of wondering where price is going to go, etc. Are we going to come down? This is just some of my thoughts. Now, if we come down to these levels, it doesn't bother me one bit. Us as a community, we trade price action. We're not so bothered. Obviously, we've got the spot pots, but if we're shorting down to these little bounces here, there's day trades to be had. So obviously, you can be in long-term holds and swing trades from down here on your different accounts, etc. And then when we do fall down to these zones here, you've got your hedge trading, as it were, hedging the shorts. So making sure that you are making on the way down so you don't lose any of your profits that you've made on the way up. So yeah, there's day trades. What I'm talking about here is swing trades for sure, coming down to these key levels and getting good reactions. But looking down for what's next. So they're my long-term levels. If we do come down to here, of course, we need to start looking at is the bear market in sight. What makes me think it may be, possibly, is if we get the cipher indicator up just here, we can see that we have got bearish divergences. So you can see high highs in price, lower highs on the oscillator, which is the momentum wave, which is the money flow, and also we can see the VWAP is starting to come to the downside as well. So what we've got here is a bearish divergence on the weekly level. The weekly level. What this means is the oscillator that's reading the money flow and measuring the momentum waves, it's not looking good. It's not looking good for higher prices at this moment in time. It's not to say it's impossible. We can see that the money flow is, starting to leave the market, and also you've got a bearish divergence here as well. So that's something to look out for that I did notice. The oscillator, the volume, the money flow is not matching and backing up the price action that we can see on the higher highs. So we've got to expect, some potential low levels, which is why I've got these on the chart here. So in terms of day trades, what are we looking at next? Well, if we look at this on a daily perspective, or even at 8 hour, let's look on the 8 hour. Potential levels of resistance. Let's get the daily. These monthlies up. Yeah. So what we've got here, we've got a potential monthly in the making. This is a developing monthly. We've got a daily up here, along with some liquidity up here, along with some liquidity up here. So if we pull a Fibonacci as well from the top down to this swing low here, and let's put that on the master fib. So what we can see here is we've got the golden channel. Thing is, with the golden channel here, that's okay, but it's not positioned really with any confluence. There is a liquidity sweep here, but let's have a look. Let's bang an anchored VWAP on here as well. Yeah, so let's look at this live then. This is fresh to my eyes. I've not looked at the charts on the localized chart here. So let's get rid of the Fibonacci for now. Let's have a look at something here. Let me just draw the 0.25 fib, the 0.25 range tool. Okay, 7550. Yeah. Let's take a few pulls from here. Get the daily up. Let's see what we're dealing with the volume. Okay. Mpox. Okay, so what I can see straight away higher up around the 121 area is an area of interest for me would be here on the highlight. Let's put that there. Let's put a short here. Area of interest will be there for me because we're approaching on this particular level. We're approaching not only the platinum channel, which is the 7.5 and 7.86. We're also approaching this weekly and daily NPOC as well as this vector candle recovery on the daily. So this red vector here, no doubt whatsoever that we've got fair value gaps as well. Yeah, fair value gap, vector candle recovery. It's looking like this area is a nice area for us. So let's look at that. I think we've got enough confluence in that particular area just there, to be honest, for us to work with. So that would be a nice short, to be fair, from the 120. Well, 119,700 all the way up to the 121,950, to be fair, on that particular short. Stop loss for me on this particular trade, not financial advice, would probably be 2.5%, because I don't know if we're breaking above here and we're going for the to make a higher high. Yeah, you're looking at taking this liquidity here. So to be fair, I'd be monitoring this, making sure if we come up to here, I'll be looking for the reaction on this, because if we start flipping that resistance to support, I don't think I'd want to be in that anyway, because you're probably looking, even if we're coming up to create a higher high with the wick. So say we've come up to here, we're doing this, etc., and we're coming up to here. Just because we get a wick, we're making a new all-time high, doesn't mean we're going to the moon. We'll probably create a bearish divergence like we had before, where the price is making a higher high, but the oscillator is making a lower low, which is why we'll be monitoring volume and order flow. But looking at that there, I think that's a good area to look for a short. Now, in terms of lower down, one thing I'm conscious of is the fact that we've got this liquidity here as well. So we might not even make it down as high, make it high as this bit here. So let's have a look. Yeah, so we've got a daily level here. We've got a developing monthly. I'm going to delete that at the moment because we're on the 20th. And if we come up to here before that, that monthly is not going to be valid. So I would say we take a fib again from the top of here to the bottom of here. That will give us, let's have a look. Let's see if we can use this golden channel of some kind. What's the measurement from this top of this golden channel when the liquidity is? See, we've got an MPOC here, but I'm thinking I don't like to make my zones any more than 3%. So I'm thinking the next short for me would potentially be around the 114,500 mark, 114,500 on Bitcoin, all the way up to here, not financial advice, but 116,600. Because what you're going to do, you're going to come up to this zone here. Yeah, you've got an MPOC there, but you've got a daily liquidity here and also this golden channel here to create a lower low and then potentially come down. Let's see if we can get any decent Let's get rid of these now. Let's see if we can get any decent anchored VWAP pulls. That one's going to give that one there. So where does that... Yeah, if we pull that GC there, we've got that short there. Around this kind of area. Where is this anchored VWAP? They're always handy to have, yeah. It's interesting. So let's have a look where that anchored VWAP's come from there. That's okay. So we've actually just flipped that today. If we look on the hour chart, we'll see from this anchored VWAP here, this was acting as resistance. So we've took this anchored VWAP from this local high here, and we can see resistance, resistance, rejection, come up to it, rejection on the resistance. We've actually flipped it. So to be fair, there is actually a bit of a scalp long here because we've taken this level. Now we're probably going to come down to retest it before moving up. So let's see if we can get a bit of confluence with that. If I take the anchored VWAP from there, that needs to work its way up. So yeah, for me, let's stick to the short for now. We have got a short up here on the golden channel. I mean, you're begging for it to come and get this liquidity up here. Yeah, I would say this zone here is what I'm looking at. Yeah, of course, you've got the anchored VWAP here, but that's too much of a big zone. So that's what I'm thinking with in terms of shorts. In terms of longs on Bitcoin, short-term longs that we can see. Let's get rid of some of these levels. In terms of a scalp, let's go on the 2-hour chart. I'll be looking at this. So we've got the anchored VWAP at the bottom of here. We've actually not got much of a pivot at the moment in terms of fib, but say if that was the high, that might be a nice little zone here for us. Have we got any MPOX on here? Let's have a look. So let's see if we've got any daily naked points of controls that we can work with. No, not quite. That's not too bad, actually. So we have got a naked point of control here. As much confluence as we can get in this scalping area. But I would say, if we was to monitor the New York Open today, I'd say a retracement down to this level here wouldn't be a bad little scalp / day trade. See how it goes. Because what you've got here, okay, let's get rid of that. Let's keep it nice and clean. What you've got here is a daily naked point of control. Is there any daily levels? No. Daily naked point of control. You've also got the Fibonacci. That is what we need to happen for this fib to be actually valid. Is obviously we've come up to this point. We've got a pivot high here, kind of nearly taking that liquidity there. We're then coming back down to retest as this anchored VWAP comes up for then a reaction to break market structure and continue on up north for higher prices. But yeah, for me, that's a nice little day trading zone there, to be fair. Where would I put my stop loss? If it was me trading it, I'd probably look to put my stop loss. To be fair, I'd put my stop loss below this wick here, this bit of liquidity, because if it's going lower than that, then I don't want to be in the trade anyway. Remember that your stop loss is for invalidation. Yeah, so for me, anywhere from that on the 108,500, let's have a look, 108,600 all the way down to 106,750. That would be a nice little zone. You've got the 382 and the 50. This anchored V up on its way up, and for backup and support, you've got this naked point of control on the daily, as well as this vector candle recovery on this little candle here on the 4 hours. So that'll be a nice little zone. So yeah, I hope you found that helpful anyway. I'll be doing these as regular as I can, just to give you guys a bit of an update on what's going on with Bitcoin. If you are interested in joining our Discord, I'll put it in the comments, our Discord community, where we showing these kind of updates on a regular basis, giving you guys updates. So nobody panics. Everything's nice and easy. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Speak soon.